Welcome to Hairstory, Kalleigh Sharp. It's lovely to have you talking with us. We've known each other a little bit now, so I've gotten to know a little bit about your business model, which I'd like to talk to you about. But the purpose of our talk today is to understand a little bit about what you've done, where you came from, where you are now, what is your business model, and lessons that perhaps others can learn from you, or ideas that you can share with them, or challenges that you've had. So tell us a little bit about how you got into the whole beauty industry. What got you into it? And a little bit about your background.
Okay, great. So I went to University of Guelph. I graduated back in 2015, and after that, I had a lot of student debt, roughly $40,000. My university was paid all through OSAP, and so there's going to be interest on that. I got into the beauty industry a little bit because I was looking for different ways to make some money. My degree is in sociology, and I was looking at the hourly rate of that, and it seemed like I would pay off $40,000 over 10 years, which seemed impractical because I wanted to travel and go shopping. So I ended up taking a couple beauty courses. There was the first three I took was hair extensions, microblading, and lash extensions. And that was in roughly 2018. I realized that a beautician can make $200 to $400 an hour doing hair extensions or microblading, which seemed to be a better number than $18 an hour as a social worker. And after I got certified, I realized that there's a lot of potential for other women who are looking for additional income or revenue, and maybe girls that don't want to take on a massive student debt. So then I became a little inspired to start the beauty school, which now has over 25 training courses.
So that's interesting, Kalleigh. You talk about the fact that you decided to start a beauty school. Now, right behind you are all the books you've written. Tell us a little bit about all those manuals that you've written.
Sure. So when I got my original training done, the theory portion was maybe 5 to 10 pages or a pamphlet. And because I didn't have a lot of basic information, I was making a lot of mistakes along the way when I was taking clients, and every mistake is a little expensive. So I realized that if there was theory content that was a little bit heavier and had more information, then the student would have a higher chance of success. So as I was working at the YMCA after school program, I was also writing and editing theory. So what goes into that is research, a lot of research on the topic. So if we wanted to do teeth whitening course, first we have to see if we are legally allowed to. So we have to contact the Ontario Dental Association, the federal government, and then I will do extensive research on different teeth whitening strategies, the health and safety, anatomy, step-by-step instructions. And then there's also the business chapter, which is a little bit similar for each book. It'll talk about getting insurance, registering a business, some marketing strategies, public health appointments. Lastly, there's a professionalism and ethics chapter, and that's when it comes to how do you take on a client, what type of language is appropriate, what topics should you avoid, what do you do when there's a complaint, and then lastly, we have some client forms at the back.
So you developed this entire school, essentially, of beauty with your own manuals, which are beside you there. That obviously took a few years. And and your long-term goal is what with that beauty school?
It would be great to have these courses accessible to every girl in Canada. It did take a couple of years, but there was a pandemic in Canada and everything was shut down. So what a good opportunity to sit at home and write some books. It would be really great to have online courses as well, especially for women out, let's say, in areas like Thunder Bay or who don't have access to our location yet. And I'm hoping to duplicate the business model across Canada.
So one of your business models, and what's interesting about you is you have multiple business models all working side by side. One of them is essentially a school or an academy, we'll call it. The other is where you have taken a space now in St. Catharines. You had one before and you've taken another new space and made it look beautiful. Tell us about that model.
It was a little bit of a fluke. When I got my first location back in 2020, it was a gorgeous red brick building and it had additional units that I wasn't really interested in. However, the landlord offered for me to have the opportunity to sublease those spaces out. And that ended up being a great part of my business model, because if there is a slow month when we want to encourage more students, we have revenue coming in from the renters, as well as we're able to cross promote each different beautician. So the more tenants, the better, and it really creates a sense of community and support.
So then you moved to your current location. So the name is Beauty Bar One.
Yes.
That's your current location in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. You have how many rooms altogether?
We have 18 units.
18 units. And about how many I know it's quite new, you're starting to fill them up. About how many of them are filled up already?
We're over halfway, which is really great. When we have an available unit, we are looking towards selling services in those from some of our student graduates, especially if they don't have a location to work at. And that way we're able to utilize the empty units to still gain revenue from service sales.
While you're filling them up.
Right.
So give us an idea of the kind of people that are now working in Beauty Bar One, the kind of services, sorry, not kind of people.
The people are only the best. Only the best.
But the services, what kind of services now are being offered out of that location?
We have 5 hairdressers, and that includes locticians, braiders, colorists, hair extension technicians. We have a nurse injector, laser company, lash extension artists. We have facials, and we're looking to find someone that will do tattoos and spray tanning. We also have some nail technicians.
So since this podcast is Hairstory, which is basically dealing with the hair world, let's chat a little bit about those hair professionals that are in your location. They offer, I presume, cutting and styling and coloring, extensions and braiding, or anything I'm missing? What sorts of service?
Dreadlocks as well.
Dreadlocks.
One of the great things with having different units is we have a wide range of diversity. So when we do have a client, we are able to line them up with someone who has a lot of experience working with that hair texture.
So your company will allow the individual who wants to have their own business to essentially have their own business without having to go and find a location and renovate a location, etc.
The only catch is they have to give me free services.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. No, just kidding.
Not a bad, but
no, we try.
and in the world of hair, there are indeed a lot of people starting their own businesses or wishing to move from where they are working or wanting to move out of their home into a more professional location, and then your company allows them to do that. Your long-term goal, from what you were explaining to me, was to take this model and build it. So explain to me your long-term goal. Where would you like to be when we're sitting together talking 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
I would like to be in the Maldives, but until then, I would be hoping to have... So once this model is perfected, which we're getting pretty close to, then I would like to take on either different, kind of like a hybrid between a franchise and licensing agreements. There's a lot of fun when it comes to picking tenants, and you can do different tours. You can also expand a little bit into the type of entrepreneur you're looking for. So once we had a modeling company sublease from us, once we had a photographer sublease, we had a boutique sublease. So that's a little bit fun when you can play around with different types of tenants, but primarily like to keep the atmosphere as a girl power kind of sorority sister experience. So instead of living in a sorority house, you're working in a sorority center.
That's interesting. And so one of the messages I'm hearing from you is that not only are you just simply providing a room and a place for them to do their business, like a sink and water and reception services, your goal is to be much more than that in their life. So talk to us a little bit about that. What do you want to see happening with your beauty bar 1 and then beauty bar 2 and then up to beauty bar 200.
Right. It would be,
So
yeah.
what do you feel you're going to be developing within that business model?
Developing something that hasn't been done yet in the beauty industry, where we're mixing commercial leases with support staff and the tenants. We want the tenants to be successful by pairing them with an assistant or a front desk or someone that can help them with their marketing. We can give them a little bit more. We can give them a higher chance of success, which is what my whole business is about, whether it's for student success, tenant success, client feeling more self-confident after an appointment, really just lining up that positive energy and growing this experience across Canada, or maybe across the world, and maybe there will be one of the Maldives. Maybe right. Let's go there next. So and it would be really fun to have beauty bar 345. Yes. So yeah, lots of opportunity, and I think it would be really great to reach a lot of different entrepreneurs and provide a little bit of comfort when it comes to taking on a room. I know that it's a big risk for entrepreneurs, and hopefully if they have the right support, then we can alleviate that risk a little bit.
It does, as I think this through, and one of the discussions you and I have had previously when we were talking about your business model, was that you can make a huge difference in a lot of, in this case, women's lives who are wishing to have their own business, but it's difficult for them to go get financing or go get support or figure out how to have their own business. And providing them a sense of community in your business brings them not just simply a room and some financing or some products. It makes them, so talk to us a little bit about what else you give them beyond that.
Sure. So right now, by pairing a tenant with one of the assistants, or sometimes we will use some co-op students who are also wanting to get into the industry, we're able to do a lot of marketing for them and help schedule them when it comes to a day that they maybe want some video content. Maybe they're too busy to be posting online. Maybe they maybe they want some other strategies to get the marketing, but we also give them guidance when it comes to developing their business. For example, every beautician needs a public health inspection, and I assist in lining that up and making sure that they kind of are up to par with that. We want to make sure that they have support if they have a difficult client and they're not sure how to manage that. We also want to have a nice experience the second the client walks in. So from the atmosphere we create is very relaxed. We like the jazz music. We like the candlelit service. We have our wonderful front desk greeting the client, and that way the client's experience is off to a good start, and it's up to the tenant to do their excellent service, which a lot of these ladies do.
You also talked about, I remember using the term glam squad, and that you were trying to, or your goal was to build a sense of community among all of the people working in your set of suites. Perhaps I'll use the term suites to describe it, because that's the concept that is growing everywhere. Talk to us a little bit about that.
When you go to university and you're in your first year, they want to create a sense of community, especially because everyone will be living on site. So they'll do things like door decorating, or they'll do little contests or events or parties. And that way there is a little bit more of something else that the tenant is getting out of the experience, not just money, but they're also making friends. They can collaborate with different women, especially when there are different funding programs. I think through Paro there was it's like a $5,000 program which will be given out to a group of entrepreneurs. You need 5 of them to qualify, and the women are able to network and line up their goals with other women who are also business driven.
Interesting. One of the very interesting conversations you and I had was that your company offers corporations the ability to essentially have a scholarship and pay some money to have someone fully educated and start up their own business. Let's say a woman, a single mother, even a young man who needs to start to go somewhere in life. Because that's one of the challenges we're having in society right now, particularly with the young people, is where are they going to go? A lot of those entry-level scenarios are disappearing. A lot of business opportunities are disappearing. And therefore, there are these opportunities for companies like yours to step up and say, we can educate them. We can give them a skill. They can then have their own business. So we were talking about that. Talk to me a little bit about if I have a corporation and I want to make a difference, I can come to you and you can offer me scholarships that I can pay for 1, 2, or 10 people to be educated. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure. So the corporate scholarship programs are available for either young females or single mothers. The program would include 3 different training courses, as well as kits and equipment, and ongoing mentorship and tutorship to ensure that the client will become successful. As a corporation, you get to feel good about it, but we would also provide your company with some of the content that we have of the student throughout her program, which will be her getting her certificates, her with her instructors, and really being able to watch her succeed and thrive, especially because we do need some more support from corporations to help women enter the beauty industry. And lastly, the reason why we want to provide them with ongoing mentorship and tutoring is because we genuinely do care about the student and want them to be successful. It'd also be great if, let's say she doesn't want to have a home salon or a storefront, the student is also welcome to sublease from us and can have that continuing ongoing support, as well as part of feeling like a member of our community.
So what you've described now is essentially something very unique, which is that a corporation, let's say my corporation, for example, could come to you and say, we would like to essentially sponsor or give a scholarship to one person, and you would choose them, and we would pay, I think if I remember correctly, you said it was a $6,000 package. For $6,000, we would be able to follow along also and tell all our internal team and our customers that we are making the difference in the life of one person, in this case a woman, or even, I presume you'll expand it later, but at this time you're talking about single mothers. And what was the category of?
I think it's women 25 and under.
Okay. So we could then, for $6,000 or multiple $6,000, essentially provide scholarships for these people. And you take care of the rest. You find them, you train them, you set them up in business, and you keep us involved with all of their journeys so that we can also talk on our social media, etc., about these people who we've had a chance to make a difference in their lives. Is that kind of what you're suggesting?
That's correct. Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack. You're doing a lot, but clearly, you're the kind of person that doesn't want to do just one little thing. You want to make a big difference in the world. And we're looking forward to continually meeting you as we are in this podcast, following up with all of the different guests and seeing how they progress in the future. So we wish you all the best of luck, and we'll be looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you very much.